Hi everyone, welcome to the classes on fluid machinery. Today we will be discussing about hydraulic turbines and we will start the topic with the Pelton wheel. Here is a general layout of a hydroelectric power plant. The water is available in a reservoir or dam which is bring to the turbine with the help of a penstock pipe. And we will have different types of head while studying the terms in Pelton wheel. First one is the gross head. It is the difference between the water level in the reservoir and the tail raise. Tail raise is the water level just below the turbine, and the difference between these two is called gross head. Normally tail raise will be touching the lower bottom of the Pelton wheel. Okay. The second head is the HF. HF is the head loss due to friction while traveling through the penstock pipe. Penstock will be 1 or 2 km long. While traveling through the pipe, some amount of head is lost in the penstock pipe. That we have to reduce while calculating the velocity of water coming out from the penstock pipe. So we have to reduce the value of HF from the gross head available, and you will get a value of H, that is called the net head available in a hydroelectric power plant. The friction loss is given by 4FL V square by 2GD, which is Darcy's friction factor equation, which is already studied. Okay. Next thing we will go through different types of efficiency while dealing in a turbine. First one is the hydraulic efficiency. It is the ratio between the power given to the runner. This is called the turbine or runner. The power given by the water is called the water power. And due to the while water is heating the turbine will running at some speed. So turbine got some amount of power. Initially turbine at a stationary. After water is heating the turbine will be running at some speed. So turbine got some power. So the power of the turbine is called the runner power. Or this part of the turbine is called runner, or the power of this is called runner power. So the ratio between water power and runner power is called the hydraulic efficiency. So in this term, in this portion only, water is coming into contact or water, the role of water is. So hydraulic efficiency is the power obtained by the runner in the numerator and a power given by the runner in the denominator. The next thing we will be discussing is the mechanical efficiency. So as the runner got power, the power in the runner is transferred to the generator. So by using some mechanical linkage called couplings, shaft, like that. So all these parts comes under the mechanical category, and while transmitting the power from runner to the generator, some amount of power is lost, and that loss is called mechanical loss. And the efficiency between the power obtained by the generator and the power given to the generator, that is the runner power, it is called mechanical efficiency, or we can write shaft power by runner power will be the mechanical efficiency. So the next thing we will be dealing with the overall efficiency. We have started the power from hydraulic and we will ended the power at the generator. So the ratio between the starting and the ending is called the overall efficiency. So in overall, the denominator will be the power given to the runner, that is the water power, and the numerator will be the power obtained or given to the generator, that is called the shaft power. So the third thing we will be discussing is the overall efficiency, which is the ratio between shaft power and water power. Okay, all these things related to turbines. In pump, centrifugal or reciprocating pump, all these things will be reversed. Hydraulic efficiency will be water power by runner power, mechanical efficiency will be runner power by shaft power, and overall efficiency will be water power by shaft power. That is for pump. We will discuss in detail. And next thing we will be discussing what is runner power. So already we have a brief idea about how the velocity diagram for a curved vein water will be striking at some velocity, which is while the vein is moving with some velocity. So we already have some idea what is VW1, VW2, U1, U2 and all. So power delivered to the runner is given by VW1 plus or minus VW2. A plus or minus will depends on the angle beta, that is the outlet velocity triangle will have beta and phi. If the value of beta is less than 90, we will have V omega 1 plus V omega 2. If the value of beta is equal to 90, VW2 equal to 0. If the value of beta is greater than 90, we will have negative sign. Okay. And the next thing we will be discussing is the water power. Water power is given by rho g QH, where Q is the amount of water striking on the turbine blade. So which is given by velocity into area of cross section. So velocity into area of cross section. Okay. Next thing, this is the velocity diagram for a Pelton wheel. In Pelton wheel, the inlet velocity is parallel to the direction of motion of the blade. So you can see this is the blade will be moving in this direction, and the velocity of water will be parallel to the direction of motion of the blade. So in inlet, the value of alpha and theta is equal to 0 for a Pelton wheel. For a Pelton wheel, the value of alpha and theta. Alpha is the angle made by the V1 with the horizontal, and theta is the angle made by the VR1 with the horizontal, where V1 is the absolute velocity, VR1 is the relative velocity, and U1 and U2 are the blade velocity. Normally we will be representing U1 and U2 by a single term called U. Okay, so the water will be striking with a velocity V1, the blade is moving with a velocity U. So in total, the blade will feel the water is striking at a velocity VR1. This is the inlet velocity, and V1 got a horizontal component VW1. Since V1 is horizontal, it won't have any vertical component. So F1 is the vertical component of V1, which is equal to 0. And VW2 is again, it is the horizontal component of VW2. VF2 is the vertical component of VW2. And the difference between V1 and VR1 is called U1. Similarly, in the top triangle, the starting point of V1 and VR2 is called U2. So we have to study how to mark the terms in a velocity triangle. For a normal turbine case, other than Pelton wheel, for reaction, that is for Francis and all, we will have velocity triangle in the inlet and outlet. For Pelton wheel, we don't have any velocity triangle at the inlet. At the inlet, the velocity of water will be parallel to the direction of motion of the vane. So alpha and theta is equal to 0. We will have only phi and beta. So angle of deflection is the angle between the direction of motion of the jet and in the initial and the direction of motion of the jet in the final. Initially, jet is coming in the direction and it is deflected to this direction. So this is the total angle of deflection, which will be equal to 180 minus phi. If it is the total angle is 180, this angle will be phi. So we can calculate the value of phi from the angle of deflection. Okay. And we will write the power given to the runner by the jet is given by mass into rho a v1 is the mass, area into velocity into density is the mass into velocity change vw1 u1 plus or minus vw2 u2. Since the value of beta is less than 90 in this figure, we have written vw1 plus vw2, and we will be taken u1 and u2 as a single term u. So we will be substituting u1 and u2 by a single term u. So we can write vw1 plus vw2 into u. That is the power given to the runner. This is the value of runner power. Okay. And we will calculate in some question we have to calculate work done per second per unit weight of water striking. So this is the top one is the equation of the work done. So we will calculate the how much work done per unit weight of water striking. So we will be dividing the above equation with the weight of water striking. So weight of water is given by mass into acceleration due to gravity. So we will be dividing the above equation, the top equation, runner power, divide with the mass into acceleration due to gravity. So it is equal to rho a v1 vw1 plus vw2 u divided by rho a v1 into g. This is the weight of, in some question we have to answer like this. Okay. And the third one is the kinetic energy. So normally water power is given by rho g qh, which is also equal to the kinetic energy in for Pelton wheel. So we can write the water power as a half mv square. So if we substitute the value of rho g qh, we will obtain the same equation. So either you can use the kinetic energy equation half mv square, or we can use the rho g qh for the value of mass of water striking, or that is water power. Not water mass of water striking. For water power we can use the half mv square or rho g qh equation. Okay. For hydraulic efficiency, we will be substituting net power by water power. Okay. And before going to the problems in Pelton wheel, we have to understand some terms. First one is the value CV. Normally, the velocity of water coming out through a jet is given by root 2 gh. It should be multiplied by a constant is called the CV. The value of CV will be varying from 0.98 to 99. If it is not given in the question, we have to assume this value. And the next thing is the value of velocity of the wheel. In some question, we have to assume the velocity of the wheel, which is given by phi into root 2 gs, where phi is called phi in some text which is written as ku. Okay. Some text which is written as ku. Here it is written as phi. Ku is called the speed ratio. The value of speed ratio is 0.43 to 0.48. Okay, this also we have to assume. Third one is the angle of deflection. Normally they won't give any chance to assume this value. In rare case we have to assume this. It will be considered while evaluation. The next thing is the velocity of bucket, which is given by pi dn by 60, where d is the drum diameter. Normally drum diameter will be given in the question. We have to calculate the velocity, or in some question the velocity will be given and RPM will be given. We have to calculate the drum velocity. Okay. Next thing is the jet ratio. It is defined as the ratio of drum diameter or pitch diameter to the diameter of the jet, capital D by D. And it also got some random values. No need to study this. If it is given in the question, we have to use that for the calculation. And the next thing is the number of bucket, which is given by 15 plus d by 2d. Okay, so M is the jet ratio, which is described here. Okay. The last one is the number of jet, which is obtained by dividing the total discharge, capital Q, divided by discharge through a one jet. Okay, in some Pelton wheel we will be using more number of jet for obtaining high speed. Okay, so in that case we will be using more than one jet. That is given by dividing capital Q, total discharge, divided by discharge through one jet. Okay, and in Pelton wheel we will generally expect a question like a design of Pelton wheel. So simply they will provide in the question design a Pelton wheel. So in many students asking that what we have to calculate. So if it is mentioned that design a Pelton wheel, we have to calculate diameter of jet, diameter of the wheel, bucket size, number of bucket, number of jet, everything we have to calculate. So here they have mentioned only 5 times: small d, capital D, width of the bucket, depth of the bucket, number of bucket, and from the previous case we have to calculate jet ratio and number of jet. Everything had to calculated for a design of a Pelton wheel. Okay. We will do the problem. This problem is regarding the design of a Pelton wheel. We will discuss this problem in the coming class. Okay, thank you.